back in 2002, a group of German geophysicists began making trips into modern-day Iraq to map out what they believed they had discovered, which was ancient Iraq that aligned with the ancient texts of Gilgamesh. I'm going to show you this headline because I honestly, this is like unbelievable. Two German geophysicists, one named Georg Fassbinder and Helmut Becker, they were working for the Bavarian State Conservation Office in Munich, and they began using magnetic mapping to discover the old city. And suddenly they go, wait a second, this is his tomb. When exactly did they find it? We know for sure that it was sometime between May 2002 and very early 2003, they became convinced that indeed they had found the actual tomb of Gilgamesh, also, like I said, known as Nimrod in the Bible. This is within the exact timeline that we make a decision to invade Iraq. It's going to get even more insane. So it's February 5th, 2003. Colin Powell publicly states, rather notoriously now infamously states, that Iraq possessed weapons of mass destruction. He's holding up the anthrax. He's addressing the United Nations Security Council, okay? Then, that quickly, next month on March 20th, 2003, we invade Iraq. The public is informed a couple of weeks thereafter, the BBC, so state arm, that Fassbinder indeed had made the discovery of Gilgamesh's tomb. And conveniently, well, guess what our boys did? They were there. They happened to make their military base at that exact location. Like, this is just incredible. Colin Powell publicly states there's weapons of mass destruction during his address, and then bam, there we are on top of Babylon. Well, what exactly were we doing there? Other than, the obligatory mass murdering, plundering ancient Christian civilizations and structures, a million Iraqi civilians that were killed. That's a given. We just are always destroying Christian relics, but because we have to destroy history. They have to destroy history. But in retrospect, I have to say that I gotta stand for my boy Colin Powell looking into this, because I think he told the truth that they were indeed searching for weapons of mass destruction, but of a spiritual caliber, mass spiritual destruction. It is absolutely not a conspiracy. You can look us up yourself, that we, like I told you, set up our military base, Camp Alpha, right on top of ancient Babylon. Our boys then began digging. They said that the reason that they chose this place was because they wanted to protect the site from looters. Except, I guess, the military guys got confused at the top. They accidentally started doing the looting. The instructions just weren't clear over there. This is actually a United Nations article published in 2009 when we had to confess our sins before the world. It reads in part, quote, Babylon was the capital city for two famous kings of antiquity, Hammurabi, who introduced one of the world's first law codes, and of course, Nebuchadnezzar. Partially excavated over the last century, much of ancient Babylon, which lies 90 kilometers south of Baghdad, remains undiscovered. Now, according to a 2005 British Museum report, the use of Babylon as a camp by a multinational force between April 2003 and December of 2004, by coalition forces is, quote, tantamount to establishing a military camp around the Great Pyramid in Egypt or the Stonehenge in Britain. Tells us later that Babylon was indeed plundered during the 2003 war, when contents from Hammurabi and Nebuchadnezzar museums and from the Babylon Library and Archive were stolen and destroyed. Oh, well, did we just go to war because we wanted to go on an archaeological dig? And we actually weren't allowed to do that because it was discovered and it belonged to people in Iraq. So they were like, weapons of mass destruction. We're going to need to go there and set up camp and do some digging. Sure enough, that's what the local said they did. And they just transported things out of there. This is from NBC News. It tells us that a senior U.S. military officer has said that he's willing to apologize for damage that his troops caused in one of Iraq's most famous ancient sites. The British Broadcasting Corp reported Friday that after the 2003 invasion of Iraq, U.S. Marines built a helicopter pad on the ruins of Babylon and filled their sandbags with archaeological fragments from the ancient city. It said vibrations from the U.S. helicopters caused the roof of one of the buildings to collapse. We were not there to protect ancient ruins. We were there to plunder and to loot and to steal. Right after we discover that Gilgamesh's tomb is in this city. Locals reported that at night, Americans were digging and they were extracting in military operations. But to where? That's the question. Where did they take Nimrod's remains? Why do they want them? What do you guys think they're trying to do with Nimrod's body? Time for you guys to wake up, really wake up, and to understand that many of us are kind of coming out of a fog. Certainly me. Never forget who Nimrod was in the Bible, right? Nimrod was the original one world government guy seeking to unite humanity under the Tower of Babel, one system created in defiance of the creator, one world government. This is why the mystery cults, they revere Nimrod. Freemasons revere Nimrod. In Masonic tradition, Nimrod is considered to be the first Grandmaster, even before Solomon. I was telling you about that. This is all very real. It should shock you. We're probably like, was I about? Yes, absolutely. And so people then dug up, and this got a bit confused, by the way. So I should clarify that there was this still never quite explained FOIA request that went through to the State Department requesting documents pertaining to the resurrection chamber of Gilgamesh, the location of his body and the location of the buried Nephilim. Who are we talking about? Who are we speaking about when we refer to these people, the fallen angels? Guys, I am telling you, and this is not a part of Catholic canon, but you are allowed to read it, and you should read it. I read it on a plane. I don't even know what was going through my mind where I decided I needed to read the Book of Enoch. I think it is so important to read the Book of Enoch, okay? To read about the fallen angels. That this is your real history.